Morning viewers, this is Saraswati. I welcome you all in online classes of RD group of schools. So students, today I'm going to teach a very wonderful topic, that is an elementary school classroom in a slum. This poem is written by Stephen Spender. So I think everybody knows that Stephen Spender is really very revolutionary poet who has composed many poems that always has a very revolutionary as well as the most awakening theme to aware the society about the most trodden and the grinding societies those prevalent in the current era. So students, in this poem we will discuss first of all about title, then point, line to line explanation, literary devices used in the poem and other elements of the poem. So now let's start. First of all, I'll discuss about its title. So students, see now, the title is in elementary school classroom in a slum. So we are talking about a classroom that is situated in a school, and which kind of school? An elementary school. And where is it located? This is located in the slum area. So finally in this poem we are talking about a classroom that is very poorly furnished, situated in a very crucial as well as poor locality, that is slum area. So students, do you know what is slum? So slum is a place where very poor people live in hutments and without any complete society, like means civilized society. So you can find the slum areas like in Delhi and Mumbai. It means the most crowded places, the highly advanced cities in there or out in their outer skirts, they always find the slum areas. So we're talking here about the slum areas. It means without any adequate facility, without any actual rights, and so many things are not available there, those are required for the survival of a human being. Except it, in this poem we are talking about the crucial situation of poor societies, those are highly neglected and unprivileged by societies. One or two lines I want to add about its theme. So first of all, we should know about the theme of the poem. Theme means in this poem only we will talk about two things, that is class inequality and social injustice. So students, I think it is clear. In this poem only we will talk about class inequalities and social injustice. It means in this society every individual has their own right, but still some societies are unprivileged. Those are not given the proper rights as they need. So poet in this poem is talking about those societies only, those are still in the current era are highly unprivileged. So now let's move towards the next point. So that is about the poet. So already I was talking that Stephen Spender is highly revolutionary poet who has highlighted different kind of theme of the societies through his poetry and other writings. So now, so Stephen Spender, Harold Spender, CBE was an English poet, novelist, and essayist who concentrated on themes of social injustice and the class struggle in his work. So, students, it is quite clear that it means in all of his writings, he always concentrated only themes of social injustice and the class struggle. It means in the society, the particular group of societies or communities those suffer from such kind of problem is highlighted in his poems or in his writings. The next is he was appointed poet laureate consultant in poetry to the United States Library of Congress in 1965. So in 1965 he was given the responsibility and he was appointed as a poet laureate as well as consultant in poetry in the United States Library. So it was highly achievement for him. And as we know, he was born on 28th Feb 1909 in Kensington, and he died on 16th July 1995 in Westminster, London, United Kingdom. and his education is from Gresham University College School, Junior Branch, University of Oxford. So these are the particular details about the poet. So now students, we should move towards the explanation of the poem. So now we will do line to line explanation. So what is important in the poem? Two things. It's line to line explanation and its vocab. And one more thing is very important, that is language terms, means figure of speech and a symbol images. So we will discuss all these things very keenly and perfectly. So yes, let us start. So far, far away from gusty waves, far, far away from gusty waves, the children's faces like rootless weeds, the hair torn round their pallor. So, students, here poet is talking about the slum children. So, first of all, I want to clear one thing, that the settlement of the poem I'm explaining, it means this poem is defining only about a classroom, which is the classroom of an elementary school that is situated in a slum area, and the students are sitting in a classroom and the poet is observing them, and with that image he is writing this poem. So first of all, he is defining everything of the classroom. First, it means the interior of the classroom, the situation or other infrastructure of classroom, the physical condition of the students, their expectations and their vision. Everything is defined in this poem. So the first line is really very revolutionary, that far, far from gusty waves. So student, gusty means fast, strong. Waves, the children's faces like rootless weeds, the hair torn down their pallor. So far, far. So there is figure of speech repetition. So in the last poem also I discussed what is figure of speech repetition. It means wherever there is repetition of the same word, phrase or any line or defining the rhyme scheme as well is called the figure of speech repetition. So far, far, it means here figure of speech repetition is used from gusty waves. Waves, as you know, just like as waves takes place in the sea, in rivers, it means strong. It is symbol of the strength. The children's faces, it means the poet is defining about their actual situation, what they are in the world. So it means they are far away from their gusty waves, and the children's faces are really very different from this, means the actual situation of the world. Like rootless weeds, the hair torn round the pillow. The poet is saying that it means about their situation we cannot say anything. Reason is because they are far away from growth, development, as well as their actual kind of advancement in the world. The next is like rootless weeds, the hair torn down their pallor. Pallor means, it means the faded yellow color. So poet is saying that it means their hair are appearing just like rootless weeds. So students, what is weeds? Weeds means unwanted plants. So we can say that these students here are just looking as the unwanted plants are just torn out, thrown out from any field. They always remain in unwanted situation. In the same manner these children are appearing. So here poet is giving one more example, that the tall girl with her wig down hat, the paper seeming boy with red eyes. So students, tall girl will. So in the classroom, the one girl is sitting there and she's very tall girl and wig down. It means she's sitting in the classroom with head down. So her head is appearing that she is under the burden of poverty. She doesn't have any kind of dream, expectation from the life, and we can say she is not happy in that world. The another example is given, the paper seeming boy. So why this phrase paper seeming? What does it mean? It means very thin, and the person who doesn't have nourishment and who is the victim of malnutrition. So poet is talking about the same. It means one boy sitting in the classroom, but he is just like a very thin and a paper seeming boy with red's eyes, and his eyes are compared with red, so figure of speech simile is used. So what is simile? Simile is a figure of speech which compares two things on the basis of one quality. So red's eyes, as we know, very curious eyes. In the same manner, the eyes of this boy is very curious, so both are compared. It means red's eye always remains searching something else outside. In the same manner, the child is not interested in the classroom and he is staring outside. He is looking for the different things. The next is of the stunted unlucky here of twisted bonds, reciting a father's gnarled disease, his lesson from his desk at back of dim class, one noted sweet and young, his eyes live in a dream. The stunted means bent. It means kind of malnutrition. Unlucky here, it means here means that we get from our ancestors from generation to generation. Of twisted bonds, their bonds are in a twisted form. It means in the molding form, in the band form. Reciting a father's gnarled disease. Fathers, it means they are the victim of malnutrition, malnourishment. Just they got this kind of disease from their means their ancestors, their hair. So white poet is saying that means the children are very poor in their physical appearance, and it all just because of their malnutrition. Whatever they got from their ancestors, from their earlier generation, they are the same. His lesson from his desk at back of dim class, when unnoted, sweet and young, his eyes live in dream. So poet is saying that at back of the dim class, it means at the back of dim class, one unnoted, sweet and young, one boy very sweet and young and unnoted, means nobody is noticing him. He is sitting there in the class, his eyes live in dream, and his eyes are living in dream, means there are a lot of dreams in his eyes. And he is, it means lot of dreams in his eyes. He is dreaming about his life, like that. It means he is thinking that somewhere, someday there will be something for him. So yes students, what is the conclusion of first stanza? So in this stanza, poet is talking about the physical appearance of the children, how poor they are in their physical appearance, what is the reason of that, what actually they are, which kind of dreams they are taking in their life. So these are the difficult words of this stanza. Gusty waves means brazy winds, pallor, pale, dull face, and stunted, not fully grown due to malnutrition, and gnarl means knotted, rough, weeds, unwanted plants, paper seeming, very thin boy, as already I have discussed. So let's move towards the next stanza, that is on sour cream walls, donation Shakespeare's hand, cloudless at dawn, civilized dome, riding all cities, belled flowery, Troilus valley, open-handed map, awarding the world its world. So poet is talking about the actual situation of the classroom, and it is compared to the outer world. It means the classroom of these children are quite sour cream walls, means faded, uncolored, discolored, and donations Shakespeare's had. It means in the classroom, what is pasted, what is displayed. In the classroom, only donations given by people and the Shakespeare's picture and cloudless Eden. Cloudless Eden means clear sky, limitless sky. Civilized means highly appreciated or highly reformed. Civilized dome. As we know, the all buildings, domes, religious buildings, riding all cities, means the pictures those are displayed or pasted in the classroom are defining a very highly developed country, highly developed world. And where belt, flowery, and Troilus Valley, open-ended map awarding the world its world. It means in that Troilus Valley, open-ended map. So Troilus Valley is the symbol of its prosperity. Belt means quite full, and flowery, prosperous. Open-ended map. It means, as we know that we can see everything in the maps, and it is the way or it is the path through which we can know about the world. So the same thing are highlighted, displayed in the classroom, but there is no significance of all these things in their lives. The reason is because they are quite poor. These things are quite under, are quite far away from their reach. And yet for these children, this window, not this map, their world where all their future is painted with the fog, a narrow street sailed in with a lead sky, and far away, rivers, capes, and stars of words. So, students, poet is saying that avoiding the world its world. Different open-handed map are just displayed in the classroom, but out of their reach. And yet, then still, for these children, this window, not this map, means the children those are sitting in the classroom, for them their world is this window, not this map. Reason is because they are in imagination, they are thinking that they will be staring outside, then definitely they are imagining about the world where they will be moving. These things those are highlighted in the classroom, that is not their world, where all their future is painted with fog and a narrow street sailed in. So these students are sitting in the classroom, and what actually happening, students? Because where all their future is painted in the same classroom, their complete future is painted with a fog. Fog means, it means blindness, without any expectation. Nothing will be in their life. A narrow street sailed in with a lead sky far, far away. It means the rivers, the capes, and stars. These are the symbol of prosperity. So capes, what is cape, students? A very outer part between the water, just like a hill is called the cape. River, as you know. And stars of what? It means the prosperity, appreciated words. So these children are not getting such kind of things. They are just only kept in narrow street. The life is sailed in a very narrow as well as in a very compact kind of sky or in the world. So, in this stanza, we are talking about the situation of their classroom, means their classroom are highly updated and they are fully infrastructured only with the things those are not of their use. So, poet is talking that means the things those are the symbol of prosperity and civilization and highly civilized. There is no significance of these things because they are not aware how to use them, how to utilize them. So, vocabulary of difficult words used in this stanza are short, that is unpleasant, donations, things given in charity, done early morning, sunrising time, and tallest valley, a beautiful valley in Austria, and sailed means locked, and capes, a large piece of land that is between water. So, these are the difficult words of this stanza. So, students, now we should move towards next stanza. So, now the poet is highly pessimistic for these slum children, and he is speaking in a very bold manner. Surely Shakespeare is wicked, the map a bad example, with ships and sun and love tempting them to stay. The poet is saying that the children, those are in the slum areas, those are getting education in the slum areas, schools, means for such students, the Shakespeare's picture that is displayed in the classroom is wicked. Wicked means bad, evil. So, the map a bad example. The map that is a symbol of prosperity is a bad example for them, with ships and suns and love tempting them to steal. It means the map, the pictures, those are defining the highly updated land or the world. That is, it means what? Ships and suns are just displayed in the pictures. There is no use of these things for these students. Psychologically, students, we can discuss, until a person doesn't get food to provide his bellies, then they cannot think about anything. The same is the situation with these students, means they are only from hand to mouth. They are not in situation to think about the things like growth and development. So this is not applicable in their cases. So poet is saying that means any kind of sun, any kind of shapes those have been defined in the maps, or any kind of highly updated personality like Shakespeare, that is no use of these things in their life. As we know, Shakespeare is a father of English drama. He is very highest level personality, and is the symbol in his poems or in his dramas. He defined only what? it means love, and the strength about kings. So these things are far away from their lives. Tempting them to steal means until a person is not getting anything for survival, and if we will expose or display something very high before him, so definitely he will become a criminal. So these things only making them the criminal, not the good citizens. From fog to endless night, for lives that slyly turn in their cramped halls, from fog to endless night, on that they slag heap these children. Poet is saying that their lives have definitely cramped in very narrow halls. There is no scope and no space to come out. And it has been painted from fog to endless night. Means since the birth till the death, they are kept in the fogless. They are kept in the endless night. Means in the darksome situation, in the darksome environment. Never they got the opportunity to get something else in their life. Wear skins peeped through by bonds and spectacles of steel with mended glass. So now, students, poet is talking about their dressing sense and their situation, how they dress up them, and what they are getting. It means wear skins peeped through by bonds and spectacles of steel. The children, those are in the slum area, they are sitting on the slag heap. Heap means collected garbage pile. The children means the children are spending their lives in the areas which are completely covered with the pile or the heap of the garbage. Where skins peep through by bones, they are the real example of malnutrition, malnourishment. Reason is because their bones are visible and their bones can peep out from their skin. So it looks that as the skin is worn on their bones just only. And the spectacles that they have worn, these are mended, but I mean repaired. It means those are not in the good condition. And what they are looking, just as we can find that as on the stone, then a little small pieces of the glass are scattered, so they appear like just like the bottle beads on the stone. So here figure of speech, what bottle beads, it means bb, repetition of word, so figure of speech alliteration is used. And what is the meaning? It means they have worn the mended glasses, and this is appearing just like the stones are scattered on a glass are scattered on a stone. So students, the difficult words and vocabulary of this stanza are weak mean evil, tempted means persuaded, and another is means temptation, and attraction, slyly mean trickily, cramped, confined, slag, weak, mended, repaired, and father and blot their maps. The poet is saying that it means we should help them. We should blot means to mark with a spot and doom disaster. It means mended glass on stones. So blot their maps. Poet is saying that it is time to mark a spot on these maps. The poet is saying that as whenever any map is made, then in that map only highly civilized things should not be defined. Some very poor like slum area should also be defined in these maps, so that everybody must aware about the situation of the world and even about the poor societies. So, students, in the last three stanzas, poet is defining about the different aspects of the slum children, about their ancestors, their last generation, about their physical appearance, about their situation, how they are spending their life. So, poet is highly pessimistic in these three stanzas. But now we will move towards the next stanza. That is, we will move towards next stanza. That is very optimistic. Unless governor, unless governor, inspector, unless governor, inspector, visitor, this map become their window, and these windows that set upon their lives like catacombs. So poet is saying that unless governor, inspector, visitor, will not pay attention on such slum areas, on these people, then there will not be any change in their lives. This map becomes their window, and this window that set upon their lives like catacombs. What is catacomb, students? Catacomb is a term, cemetery. It means already the segments made in any graveyard, already just only for the burial purpose of the people. So that is used for that purpose. So means unless governor, inspector, or visitor will not pay attention, then this map becomes their window. So these maps will be just like their window from where they just only can glance. They cannot prove themselves. And window, these windows set upon their lives, and these windows gradually will shut their lives, just like a dead body is kept in the catacombs or graveyard for a long time, for everlasting time. Never they try to come back, and never they can come back. In the same manner, they will not get any kind of growth in their lives. Break or break up open till they break the town. So poet is saying that every section of the society, every highly updated section of the society must take the positive action and break open till they break the town. Town is the symbol of prosperity. So poet is saying that it means until they will not be able to reach to the town, and they will not be able to reach up to the prosperity, that they should be appreciated, they should be given spot morally as well as economically. And show the children to green fields. Green fields are the symbol of nature, prosperity, and make their world run azure on gold sands. So poet is saying that it means the children to be taken toward the prosperity in the green fields. They should be taken and make their world run azure on gold sands, and their world should be as possible as that. Run azure. Azure means clear blue. It means run azure on gold sands, and clearly on this world, in this world, on this land that is of golden color, symbol of prosperity, openness, and freedom, they should also be given the same equal opportunity of freedom, and make their world run as on gold sands, and let their tongues run into books. And the white and green leaves open history there whose language the sun. It's very important line. The poet is saying that this is a quite fact also. And let their tongues is the symbol of means whatever they will speak, opportunities to speak. Run naked means without any restriction. Into books, the white and the green leaves means in nature. Open history means in the world. There whose language is the sun. Sun is the symbol of power. So poet is saying that it means the children cannot come out from that very poor, grinding poverty, total situation, and under the exploitation. They cannot come out until they are not given any psychological and economically support. And it is the time just only to give them sport, and the children can come out in green fields, and they can make their world, and which can run as on gold sense. And it is possible if they should be given opportunity to give their opinion, to write the book, to speak on the stages, to speak on public places, and to speak on any of the topic whatever they want. And they can write, they can create their creation in the books, and the green leaves open history theirs. And in the nature, it means in the world, they should be given the equal opportunity, because as we know, history is always created by the people those have the power in their hands. So definitely these students should be given the same equality, same freedom, and same everything. Then definitely they can come out from this world, and they can create their own history. So student, it's time to conclude the poem. So the poem An Elementary School Classroom in a Slum is really very wonderful creation by Stephen Spender. It really has awakened our spirit and heart as well as mind by defining the very poor situation of these slum areas. And the poet has defined the class inequalities and social injustice that is prevalent in the society. It has been defined through different stages how their physical appearance is poor, which kind of situation are there in the classroom, which kind of circumstances of their life, and how they are spending their life in a very poor situation. And lastly, the poet is very optimistic that he is making urge, he is making a plea or request from the higher section of the societies that please bring them out from that situation. It is only possible if together we do the collective effort, then definitely they can come out. So student, these are the literary devices, simile, That is, children are compared with rootless weeds. Like rootless weeds metaphor is there. Boy is compared with paper as his thin paper seeming boy. Metaphor in the sour cream walls. And the future of the kids is described narrow straight sail with a lead sky. Assonance repetition of vowel sound, as you know, veiled, flowery, and Trollus Valley. An allusion, reference to well-known person or place. Repetition, far repeated. Metaphor, their homes are very small like halls. Similarly, they repeat spectacles like bottle beads on stones. Alliteration, use of sound from fog. So students, these are according to the stanzas. Those I have listed the literary devices. And the next is means metaphor. Books and nature are expressed in form of white and green leaves. The white green leaves open. Anaphora there is run azure and run naked. And let's recapitulate. So it's the quiet conclusion of the poem. So these are just only for your revision. So I hope you enjoyed the poem and you understood it. So and now have a nice day.